I sat cross-legged in my dimly lit living room, the only light coming from a handful of flickering candles scattered across the coffee table. The air felt heavy with anticipation, my pulse quickening as I stared at the small pipe in my hand. It was packed with dried Salvia divinorum leaves, something I'd read about online, a plant infamous for its wild, reality-shattering effects. I'd set the scene carefully. Soft ambient music hummed in the background, and a plush blanket lay draped over the couch behind me. I was ready, or so I thought. With a flick of the lighter, I ignited the leaves, inhaled deeply, and held the bitter smoke in my lungs before letting it drift into the air. The onset. Reality unravels. The change hit me like a freight train. Within seconds, a tingling wave surged from my feet to my scalp, as if my body was being electrified. My skin prickled, and a strange pressure squeezed my chest. Then, the room started to shift. The walls pulsed, breathing in and out like living lungs. The couch twisted into a grotesque, organic shape, its cushions rippling like flesh. I tried to stand, but my legs wobbled like jelly. I stumbled forward, expecting to crash onto the hardwood floor, but instead, I hovered, weightless, suspended in a sea of slow motion. Time stretched. The candle flames flickered in exaggerated arcs, each movement lasting an eternity. Colors exploded. Deep reds, electric blues, pulsating greens, swirling and bleeding into one another. I glanced at my hands, and they were melting, dripping like wax into the air. Panic clawed at my throat. This isn't real, I thought, but the words echoed uselessly in my head. I squeezed my eyes shut, desperate to anchor myself, but the darkness only amplified the chaos. The descent, a fractured world. Behind my eyelids, fractal patterns erupted, endless spirals of light and shadow, folding into themselves like a kaleidoscope on overdrive. Geometric shapes, cubes, spheres, pyramids, floated around me, spinning in a hypnotic dance. Whispers filled my ears, a chorus of voices speaking in overlapping gibberish. They seemed to come from inside my skull, as if my own mind was unraveling into sound. Fear gripped me, but a flicker of curiosity sparked beneath it. What is this place? Am I dreaming? I opened my eyes, and the room was gone. I stood in a boundless landscape, the sky a bruised purple streaked with veins of gold. The ground shimmered with glowing plants, their tendrils swaying as if alive. Strange beings drifted past, figures made of light, their forms fluid and ever-changing. They chattered in a language I couldn't grasp, their voices a mix of chimes and static. I took a step, and the ground rippled beneath me like water. I wasn't just here. I was this place, my edges blurring into the scenery. The peak. Unity and dissolution. Time dissolved entirely. A minute could have been an hour a second. I couldn't tell. My sense of self slipped away, melting into the fabric of this alien world. I was the glowing plants, the light beings, the pulsing sky. Visions flooded my mind. Fragments of my childhood, riding my bike down a sunlit street, mixed with glimpses of a future I didn't recognize, standing on a cliff under a twin-mooned sky. Past and future collided, overlapping in a dizzying loop. At the height of it all, a profound stillness settled over me. I understood, or thought I did. The universe wasn't a collection of separate things. It was one vast, interconnected web, and I was a thread in its tapestry. Fear evaporated, replaced by a quiet awe. I floated in that moment, untethered from my body, a speck of consciousness adrift in infinity. The return, back to Earth. Then, like a tide receding, the intensity faded. The alien landscape dissolved, and I was back in my living room. The walls stood still. The couch was just a couch again. My body felt heavy, grounded. I blinked, disoriented. as the normalcy of the room sank in. The candles still flickered, the music still played, but everything felt different. I exhaled a shaky breath, relief washing over me, though a part of me mourned the loss of that otherworldly connection. The aftermath. A new lens. I sat there for a long time, staring at the pipe on the table. What had just happened? It was overwhelming, terrifying, beautiful, all at once. The trip had lasted maybe 5 minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. As I pieced my thoughts together, I realized it had been a dive into my own mind, a mirror reflecting parts of me I didn't know existed. Reality, I saw now, wasn't as solid as I'd believed. It was fluid, shaped by perception. I didn't have all the answers, and maybe I never would. But that night, Salvia had cracked open a door to something bigger, something strange and wondrous. I leaned back against the couch, a faint smile tugging at my lips. I was back, but I'd never see the world the same way again.